Okay, so if you've been searching online for laser cutters or laser engravers, you may have come across the Roly Automation's LaserMATIC Mk2. You might have already bought this, you may be wondering whether to buy it or not. In this video, I'll be going through the entire process of unboxing and setting up the machine, which should hopefully tell you whether or not you want to buy this or help you if you've already bought it. As I was opening this box, it is very much packed in. 90% of the box is foam, so if you're cutting it open, you don't have to worry too much about cutting too far deep and accidentally damaging the machine. The team at Roly Automation have done very, very well here because this thing was packed in tight and there was everything you needed in there. I do have to say though, it was a bit difficult to get out. In fact, I ended up just ripping the box open completely because lifting it did not work at all. Once I had slid out the box, there was still a bit of plastic to remove, but for the meantime I've just put it on a small little coffee table I had lying around so I can unpack everything. I do have to say, removing this paper, I think it is, was actually very satisfying and one of the best parts of unboxing this machine. I was pretty dumb in this situation. I was trying to open it and very confused as to why it wasn't opened. Turns out there is a couple screws there that you have to undo before actually opening the machine, which makes sense. As you can see, there is still more foam to be removed, and as I said before, the box is about 90% foam. Try to be careful with this. Don't try and move the laser rail too much. It could damage it. Now this is the first time I've ever actually been able to use a hex bed. I've heard a lot of praise about these things and I'm very, very excited to actually be able to use it. And given the fact that this was actually included in the price of the actual machine, it is quite a bargain. Now again, more screws to be undone. Lose this plate bit because this is used for pass-throughs, which you might want to do it later on. Not gonna lie, this is one of the best looking lasers I've ever seen. Even the module just looks amazing, but it all just looks phenomenal, especially compared to a lot of the other lasers out there on the market currently. If you have big hands, this part can be very, very tedious, especially considering the Allen key doesn't actually fit the whole way around. It can take a bit of time to actually screw in the screw. Remember, don't forget to plug in the actual laser. This is also my first time being able to use air assist. As you can see, we've got to thread it through the back hole here. Try not to damage the pipe as much as you can, because if you damage it, you're screwed. Once threaded through at the back, make sure to thread it through into the actual laser. Now this pump, you need to have it secured because it does move around quite a bit. This part was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. You simply just have to slide the hex bed in and it will click into place. The laser, there's also two boxes, one of them being this important items box, which comes with this stepper, which is very useful for knowing how far away your laser should be. A USB drive, which will be important later on in actually installing the laser onto your computer. Type-C cable. The micro SD. This nozzle thing, which I can't remember what it actually is, and a microfiber cloth. And also some Allen keys. Roly Automation's also been kind enough to give you some starter practice material, which is really good when you're setting up the laser and you may not have material around to actually engrave, especially if this is your first laser. couple bits of plywood to be able to cut, engrave, and test the laser with. In that little pouch is these little bits of metal that you are able to engrave and obviously test the laser with, see if it's a product that you would like to sell. And finally, that bit of wood that we saw at the start, which is actually a guide to how fast and how much power you need to be able to cut certain types of materials. Now that for the most part it's all set up, I've moved it to its proper workbench, which I have made, and will be releasing a video on how I made this workbench a bit later on. Something I didn't know about this laser before turning it on was the fact that it actually has LEDs on the side, which look phenomenal. They're actually very, very useful when you're cutting anything. I'd like to give a warning to Linux users here, because this was an absolute pain to install. What you're seeing right now is 10 minutes of what was a 5-hour session in me trying to connect my computer to actually be able to use Lightburn with this laser on Linux. Now, I'm not going to mark down anything on this because it does actually state that Linux is not officially supported by this laser. So this is test number 1. Let's see how it goes. As you can see, my first test just did not work. However though, I did get it working eventually, and I started to cut some things out to trial different features on the laser, as well as how good of a laser it actually is and how fast it can cut. Now in this, I didn't actually have air assist turned on, and as you can see, there's a couple burn marks around the side of the cutout. I'll come back to that a bit later. An amazing feature that this laser has is the fact that it has a bird's eye view camera, which is really, really useful. I wasn't able to get this to work with Lightburn yet, but it is still amazing for recording videos. Look at the difference between engraving and cutting. So as you can see here on the left, we have a cutout that was made with air assist turned off, and on the right we have one with it on. You can visually see what it's done and the fact that it's so much more crisp when air assist is actually turned on. I also tried cutting out a couple of photos, and the quality of the photos is just phenomenal. So would I recommend this laser? I would definitely recommend this laser. It is extremely high quality, especially considering the price range is considered a budget laser. It's got so many more features than a lot of other lasers currently out there, such as the honeycomb bed being included, as well as air assist, which is usually an additional add-on for a lot of the other lasers. The quality of the cuts is perfect, the camera's amazing. I would stress that if you're running Linux, be prepared. It is not an easy setup, especially if you're not experienced with Linux. I would highly recommend this laser to anyone who wants to start laser engraving and maybe even start up their own business laser engraving, because it's very efficient, it can cut well, and the quality that it does cut is phenomenal. If you think I've missed anything in this video, please leave a comment down below and I'll try and answer as much as possible. If you have any questions or concerns, same thing, leave a comment and I'll try and answer as many as I can. If you did find this video useful in any way, shape or form, liking, subscribing, saving the video, hitting the notification bell, all that stuff, it's free and it helps me out tremendously. So please, by all means, if this was helpful, that is the best way you can help me grow. That is all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.